Hi everyone, I'm Huub Hildenbrand. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we will start a new adventure on 3-note structures, and the magic number here will be the 19, because there are just 19 possible 3-note structures. So every combination of 3 different notes will be actually a form of one of these 19 structures. So I think this is quite interesting for most of us. So let's get right into the endless ocean of music. So before we start this lesson, please go down in the description below. There is a PDF file you should download from my page, my Guitar Academia page on Huub Hildenbrand of my website, because we will just talk about this PDF file, and I have it here in front of me also. Okay, so what do I mean when I say there are just 19 different 3-note structures? I mean, of course, there are a lot of different ways how to play like 3 different notes on the guitar, and all these possible combinations of notes and so on. But actually, if you just have like 3 completely different notes, so 3 different notes, and you put them together, and then you can analyze these notes, and every possible combination will be one of these 19 different 3-note structures. So it's actually quite a limited number, you can say, and that's also the good thing. It's possible to really learn them all and have all these sounds available. We will when we go on with this course, we will find different ways how to play these structures as voicings or as melodies, and later on we also use them for progressions, and when we go into the tonal harmony, we talk about voice leading, so how to connect these 3-note structures. And 3-note structures are actually a really great thing on the guitar. For myself, I mean, of course, it also depends on the sound of the guitar. I mean, there are a lot of different conceptions about sound, but I always felt if you have too many notes played together on the guitar, it becomes really not. It's not transparent anymore. It's very it's becoming very unclear in a way, and not nice actually. So and by really sticking to these 3-note structures, we always have a more kind of an open, you can say, open sound, or more it's more transparent, it's more clear. These 3 individual notes are more audible as separate notes, you can say. And also what's there are 2 more things which are really great. Another thing is that that's a limited number, a very limited number, like 19, and this is really cool, because we can really learn them, and then we will learn all the different functions of these sounds, and then we learned already like very different chords if we practiced and internalized one of these 3-note structures. So every 3-note structure, of course, can function in a lot of different ways. It's a very flexible structure, you can say. And also on the fretboard, if we have just 3-note voicings, we have a lot of possibilities of voice leading, of just moving one voice while the other two are staying, and we can think more like polyphony, like more three individual voices. Whereas when we have 4-part structures or even 5-part structures, we are really kind of locked always in this voicing, and there is no finger left, and it's very we have to change the whole thing to just move one voice in these 4-part structures. I think you will be really understand if you follow this path I suggest here to you, and that you will really understand what I'm talking about here, and you will really appreciate the possibilities and the sounds, and the very systematic approach. Actually, this approach here I never found on any other book or course or lesson, conservatory or university or wherever. So I think this is really cool stuff you get here. Okay, so let's talk about these 19 structures. Let's talk about what they are actually. So the idea is you can just pick any three different notes, and then what you have to do to recognize this 3-note structure, recognize here on to find the right symbol or the right place here on this page where you have them all written out, is you have to play a little bit with the intervallic structure to reduce it to a certain form, and then also you may have to transpose it. Because when I say there are just 19 different structures, I don't mean all. I mean all possibilities of all 3 different notes. For example, you have a C major triad. This structure you find as just one structure here on this page with these 19 structures. So of course what you can do with it, you can transpose it to D flat major, to D sharp major, or whatever, and also you have a lot of different ways how to play these voicings in different families. We will also talk about that, these 6 families. How to play this chord on the guitar. So I mean you can play a C major chord like this, you can play a C major chord like this, or you can play it like this, or you can play it like this, or like this, or like this. I mean there are many different ways, but it remains this sound, this C major triad. And so with all these 19 structures, of course, you can transpose them, and you can play them as in different voicings and different spacings and so on. But it's always the same kind of pool, the same kind of basic intervallic structure. And this basic intervallic structure with a C major chord is a major third and a minor third. So these triads are just stacked up. These basic traditional triads are just stacked up thirds. And you see on this page, and this is our first group, because I really like to find like very systematic ways to structure the music, because I feel like very often like music is very chaotic. You can say. I mean, there are all these possibilities. There are so many cultures and microtones and chords, and it's like I feel the need for myself to see some structure, to recognize some structure, and then go for it, or have a structure where I can find out all the possibilities, and then I can just like a very systematic approach to go all through all of them, so that at least I heard and practiced all of them. I will forget most of them, but maybe some I will just I will think, wow, this is a cool sound. I would never have developed, or how do you say? I would never found this chord in another way, maybe by accident. And doing this systematic approach, you really limit the number of just doing something by accident. You're really you take a straight path, you can say here. Okay, so this the system here on this page is I made it up. So it's not like something I have from some book or from Wikipedia, or it's a kind of my own system, my own structure, my own concept. So on the first line you find these 4 different traditional triads. So major, minor, augmented, and diminished. And they all have in common that they are stacked up thirds. So by making combinations of major and minor thirds, you come up with these four triads. Remember, that's very important. These structures, as I said, they can really function in a lot of different ways, and these symbols, these interval symbols, like for example flat 3, actually just means a distance of 3 half steps, so a minor third, 3 half steps. But it also could be a sharp 2. Like for example, if you are in a scale like E harmonic minor, for example, you go to the 6th degree where you have a C, and then you can add the 7th degree, a D sharp, and the 3rd degree of the scale, the G. So you have C, D sharp, G in the scale. And this doesn't really look like a traditional triad, but actually the basic interval structure is just minor third or augmented second, but 3 half steps and 4 half steps from D sharp to G. So actually we have an augmented second and a diminished fourth. But if we just play these 3 notes on the guitar without naming them, and that's the idea here with these 19 structures, with finding these different interval symbols. These are just 3 notes, and it's don't take it too serious how they're actually named. So a minor third here in this case it's just 3 half steps, and it can be C, D sharp, or it can be B sharp, D sharp, or it can be D, E, C, E flat, and so on. But of course, if we have a C, D sharp, G, it's the same. We use the same voicing as a C minor triad. It's just the naming. The enharmonic spellings are different. Okay, the idea here was with naming, or with finding out the most basic form of a 3-note structure is to have the next three categories, like trichords, second, third, and third, second. These 3 categories are really the idea is to put the notes as close as possible together. So with trichords, it's very simple. It's just actually scale-wise, you can say, scale-wise, or like tritonics, you can say. You can like tetratonic, pentatonic. You can say like tritonic. It's just 3 notes of a scale, 3 steps of the scale, and you have these 4 possibilities. You have a major second, a minor second, a major second, a major second, a minor second, and 2 minor seconds, which is actually chromatic. And on this page you find this chord or this structure with B, C, D flat. So you have like three different notes. And I call this structure, like 2 minor seconds, I call this chromatic triad. And actually this whole system will quite repeat itself when we go to the four note structures. Actually, these four note structures, I already have this course online with four lessons, and you will see very similar approach. And you find these, sometimes you find these names back there. I don't know anybody who calls this actually a chromatic triad. It's also a bit misleading, this term, but triad in this case means just 3 notes, and chromatic with 3 notes you only can have a minor second following a minor second. So okay, then you have the second third group. So you have a second and then a third, and you have a major second, a minor third, minor second, a major third, a major second, a major third, and you have a minor second and a minor third. And you see all this stuff on the page. Also the third second group, so a third and then a second, and of course all the other possible voicings, the possible structures on the guitar, they're just inversions or different spacings, you can say, different drop forms of these close forms of these basic groups. Very important also is that I'm not really sure. I couldn't really find this in the internet actually. I learned these 2 different triads when I studied in Holland. There was like hard vermindert and hard, and I call this here hard diminished, and I couldn't really find it in the internet. So maybe there's another word for it. Please put it down in the comments if you know it in English. And there's also this double diminished triad. A double diminished triad means you have a diminished triad, and the third of the diminished triad you diminish again. You take another flat. So actually the structure is just a major second or a double diminished third. No, a diminished third. Sorry, a diminished third, or major second, and then a major third. Yes, and with a hard diminished triad, it's actually a major triad, just a major triad, and you lower the fifth. So these both triads, they are not really fitting so much in the group of traditional triads, because they are not made of minor thirds and major thirds. They have like diminished thirds in it. Like the double diminished triad, it has a C E double flat, so a diminished third on the bottom. And the hard diminished triad has a diminished third on the top, like C, E, G flat. E, G flat is a diminished third. And then also, as a last group, you have like this kind of quartal harmony. You have stacked up fourths. And of course, you could reduce the range of the lowest and the top note. You could reduce it by stacking up these notes in a different way. So in this case, it's always a seventh. Like for example, the first is 2 perfect fourths stacked up, so C, F, B flat. But when you put it in a different form, you have like F, B flat, C, then the total range is just the fifths, because I said before that I want to come up with these basic forms of these 19 3-note structures, and the idea was to put the notes as close as possible together. But I thought like these quartal harmonies stacked up or 3-part fourths, they are so common. It's such a common idea to build not triads by thirds, but build structures by fours, to have a like more an ambivalent sound, you can say. It's not very clear. It could be a lot of things. It could be a sus chord in the root. Could be different notes of the 3-note structure. Could be also the root. And with these fourth structures, you have 3 possibilities. You have a perfect fourth, then you have an augmented fourth, perfect fourth, and you have a perfect fourth, augmented fourth, stacked up. Okay, on the second page, you find something very interesting. It says histograms. Histograms. That's actually a very cool idea. I also came up with this idea by myself. The idea is, if you have a 3-note structure, if you have 3 different notes, you have actually 3 different intervals in this structure. From the lowest to the middle note, you have one interval. From the middle note to the top note, and from the lowest note to the top note. These are 3 intervals. And what I did here with all of these 19 structures, I analyzed these structures and always reduced the interval to its smallest form. So by inversion, for example, you can reduce it to its smallest form, because actually you have just minor seconds, major seconds, minor thirds, major thirds, perfect fourths, and augmented fourths, or diminished fifths. And then actually the whole thing just repeats, because if you go higher up to a fifth is just an inversion of a fourth, and a minor sixth is just an inversion of a major third, and so on. So because these are like basic structures, and later on we will spread these notes, we will space these notes in a lot of different ways, we just also reduce it to the smallest possible form. Because later we just know, okay, we see major triad here, and then we see in the histogram, and the histogram is just actually this last portion of the page on the right side, where it shows the intervals, flat 7s, flat 2, 2, flat 3, and so on. It actually says the major triad, it has 1 minor third, it has 1 major third, and it has 1 perfect fourth. These are the basic forms of all the possible intervals in this one structure. And later on we just know, okay, it has a perfect fourth. All right, this perfect fourth can also be an 11, or it can be a fifth, or 12. You know, these are all these different forms of this basic interval, you can say. Or if you have a minor second, for example, you know, okay, if this structure has a minor second, it could be also in a voicing, it could be a major 7th, or it could be a flat 9, for example. So we don't write all these possibilities, what it also can be. We just reduce it to the most basic, smallest form, and then we just know, okay, for example, if we want to have a sound, if we want to use a structure, or we want to find a structure which has a tritone in it, then we very easily, very quickly, we find this on this page. So this is one use of it. And we can compare them, of course. We can see, okay, a major triad and a minor triad, they have the same histogram, for example. These two structures, they are the only structures which have a minor third, a major third, and a perfect fourth. So they are very related. They have a very common sound, you can say. Of course, the mood of major and minor is very different, but I think you know what I mean. The category, it doesn't have a second or a tritone. This would really change the sound of it. Okay, please, if you have questions, if you don't understand something, put it down in the comments. below, and I will read these comments, of course. Maybe I'm not responding to all comments. I mean, I want to handle my time wisely, of course. Better making new videos and stuff instead of like answering every comment. But I'm very happy if you comment, and I'm of course also very happy if you ask questions, because this shows that you're really thinking and you're really working with this material provided here in academia. All right, so we have these other groups here. They're all these histograms are just the same 19 structures, of course. And we have the next group here on the histograms page. These are the trichords. And the trichords, you can also name them in a way. The first is like major, and the second is minor, and then you have a Phrygian, and then a chromatic. Because the most basic scale we have in our European Western musical tonal system is the major scale, and like when we have a major second and another major second, it fits this scale. So we would not call this Lydian. Lydian, of course, also starts with two major seconds, but to be really Lydian, it needs the sharp 4, of course. Okay, then you have this next group, second, third. This group is actually, in practical use, is actually you can use these structures very frequently as a seventh chord, like a 4-part structures, with a 5th missing. So, for example, if you have the major second minor third, C D F, this is actually like a D minor 7th structure with the A missing. Or in a context, it could also be a D minor 7 flat 5 structure if the context really wants an A flat, you can say. And especially later on in the more in the practical use of the tonal studies of voice leading, this third one, this double diminished C D F sharp, this is a really clear and very cool voicing for dominant 7th chords, because it is a dominant 7th 4-part structure in a way, but it just misses the perfect 5th. But the perfect 5th is really completely unnecessary to have this dominant 7 sound. It's just, in a way, it's just a confirmation of the root of the dominant 7th chord. Okay, I think the rest is very clear. On this page. So actually what I want you to do as a kind of practice, I want that you just write down 3 different notes. For example, A, F sharp, G. A, F sharp, G. Okay. And then you try to find this to bring this together with this page of these 19 structures. So A, F sharp, G. What is it? Okay, actually, if you start from F sharp, it's just scale-wise motion. F sharp, G, A. So a minor second and a major second. F sharp, G is a minor second. G, A is a major second. So you already found it on the page. And try really like very weird, also enharmonic, like C flat and C sharp, for example. Okay, and then you look for it and you see, oh, it's just a chromatic triad, 2 minor seconds. And remember, when I say minor third on this page, or major third, or perfect 4th, in this case here, it really just stands for the actual half steps. Do that with different combinations of three different notes, and then I see you in the next lesson, and then we will we will go into the voicings. So how to play all these 19 different 3-note structures as voicings. And there's also a very cool systematic approach to it, where you can really have all these different possible forms on the guitar, and you really will experience like very, very nice, beautiful sounds here with these very common triads. So I promise. Okay, I hope you like this lesson, and please subscribe to my channel to get always the notifications if if there is a new lesson online. Also, there's a possibility to donate. When you follow the link down below in the description on my website, you can donate to support my work here on this channel. So thanks for watching. My name is Hildenbrand.